All right. It looks like we may be up and ready to go here. All right. Very strange. Here we go. Okay. Thank you for waiting. Had to figure out which buttons to press. And I got them working. Okay. So here we are back. Here we are back in GitHub. So I've got a new citation reference up, and I'm going to look at, from yesterday we were looking at platform versus procedure, now player versus character. So if we go to Unity, this is where we were yesterday. So if I press play here, boom, this is what I added. So I don't want to show you that yet. I'm going to go ahead and just delete out all of that stuff. But you know what's coming. So basically what we're going to do is look at how to add player movement to the platform and procedural graphics that we can generate new if we'd like to. So what I did is, and I'm deleting it out, what I did do is I added a player, and also I moved the camera. So if we look here yesterday, the camera was kind of stuck. Not stuck. The camera was just fixed, and then it would fall out, and we can go to the scene view and look at where it is, right? And I added this ball as the player. And so what we can do, which only on the most simple of games, is just directly add the camera under the player. So now if we press play, we can see that it's right in the middle, okay? So right now I don't have a character controller of any type for this ball, which I added. And you can see here under the player I put a ceiling check and a ground check objects already. I'm not going to delete those. I'll show you why. So what we're going to do here is like yesterday, I have the references to the two YouTube videos of where I got these two, three, but we'll look at the two scripts. And so we're going to go here. I'm going to go to raw, so Control A, Control C, copy paste, which is available as well on the original. This particular one was from Bracky's video on the character controller. Okay, so this one is, as you can see, character controller 2D. So I'm going to create a new C# script, character controller 2D. And we are going to double click. And add it. And so again, this is process of science, build off of those before, which, giving proper credit for Brackies in general. Pretty much everything in the before the end is excellent, and this is one of theirs that they don't even go over in detail. But and we're not going to use all of it, and you're going to see there are going to be some errors because we're not going to use all of it. But nevertheless, it's still an excellent source. And then so player movement as well. So again, go here, raw, Control A, Control C. Player movement is kind of the crux, the meaning of what we're going to want to work with. Okay, where are we here? Yeah, takes a second to think. Character controller 2D, that's right. Oh, wait a minute. Is that what I just copied? Character controller. No, we want player movement, character controller, player movement, that's right. Right, so it excuse me, it references the player character controller. Yeah, player movement, Control A, Control C, player movement 2D, and we're going to create a new C# script, player movement 2D. Okay, and so basically the idea, you know, I'm not going to say moving away from the top-down player, but after looking at the generative form, a platformer makes a lot of sense. So what I already did on the platforms here, I'll click on it. I added a couple things. What did I do? Actually, I didn't do it under the platform. I did add a sorting layer. You can see here. But what I did do, remember grass, was it grass 2? Yes, grass 2. That was the foreground one. I added a box collider and a rigid body 2D, and got rid of gravity so it doesn't fall, froze position, and yeah, okay. So what are we going to do? We need to add these two scripts. Oh, that's interesting. It went back to the original scripts. But I should drag and drop them, but they're already there. Okay, so under this ball, you can see we have a player ground check. What am I going to do? Press F here. So if I click on the player, press F on the keyboard, you can see we move closer to it. Ceiling check is actually a position right there. Put that above, and we can move it. And then ground check. Okay, so this is from the Brackeys script. To have that, and definitely a reference to look at how in detail we can get with those, to making a really good character controller for 2D. All right, I'm going to press play. It falls. Now the key here. Okay, let's see. It's not working. Why is that? Okay, so because so typically I'm going to drag and drop the scripts in, but I deleted them and then re-added them, but it stayed in the inspector. So at the very least, I need to drag and drop these. So this one is ceiling check. Okay, well, ceiling check here, ground check here. What is ground? I added a layer, ground, and I put it because of grass 2. I created a layer. And again, if you go to layer on any one, a prefab anywhere, you can add a layer here, and you just can put whatever you want. Ground, sky layer. I just added that. That's really internal for Unity. If you wanted something external, which references into a script, basically you would tag it and then you put that in the script. But we're not going to do that in this case. That's when it starts getting more tightly coupled. We want to keep things a little more loosely coupled. Okay, this should work. So if I press play, okay, and it's not working. Why is it not working? Interesting. What's wrong? What does it say? Argument, crouch. It's okay, but the crouch fixed update. Input button, the crouch. We don't need that. 2D player update. So, oh, okay. Right here. The controller. Remember we were looking why I got confused on the copy paste operation that I already planned to do. As you can see, it's referencing the player movement 2D script is referencing the character controller 2D script. You have to literally drag and drop them, or let's see if it shows up. It doesn't. It says player. We're going to do it this way. Character controller like this. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay. It wants it from the player. The game object, that's right, because it is a game object. So sometimes, yeah, it's not the script that it wants. It wants the script that's on the player, which is in this own player, right? So it's circular, but that's coupling, right? So now that's that is a tightly coupled relationship from scripts. These two have to work together. They are not loosely coupled. It will not work without having them both connected. Okay, now it should work. And it does. Okay, perfect. So arrow keys. All right, so if we go here, we'll look at, let's see if it's here. Okay, horizontal. So here's pretty much the horizontal movement. Get access raw. Okay, this is input, get access raw. This is basically your arrow keys or your ASWD buttons. It's very straightforward. And then you can add in run speed. And when we did put the tag here horizontal, which is going to limit it obviously for that, and then the jump. And you can see here a Boolean jump and crouch. And if you look at the reference link to the video, a crouch, and you can see there's a warning that it's not set up, because you do have to do a little more to set it up. Okay, so we have the jumping here, and the move means spacebar is the jump. Now, what if I go under? Okay, I'm stuck. All right, so let's add two things. Gravity scale is good. Let's do the jump height. We'll do 1,000. Okay, that way you can kind of see better. Now, you saw there's a third script I added to this, and that's because well, oops, there it is. It fall out and it's just going to fall forever. And then also in that script there's air control, which is the fun part about video games, which we can put in or not. I'll just put in, I'll show you, so you can move back and forth in the air. Oh, that's a lame looking. But see, I can go, if I jump, I can go back and forth, which is kind of cool. Okay, and there is something going on. We'll call it a bug or a feature, I'm not sure. But see how it's jumping on its own? And you can see how the blocks right here, do not destroy on load. It's generating it. It looks like every frame. So I'm going to have to figure out why. It's probably a very obvious problem I didn't quite figure out. But the point is we're going to, just so that there's a little more of a circular logic to the experience of a video, of the game itself, with these the platforms and the procedural generation, to kind of see the randomness and make it visually more of a game. So that way, if we fall off, it just starts over with the new randomly generated ground and background, because we have two different looks. So I'm going to create an empty object. We're going to call it like that script you can see in there. Oh, you don't see it. It's not there. It's load level. You can just leave it there. We can change the transform, reset it. We're going to go back here. Player versus character. Load level. It's very straightforward. There's extra stuff here, but the idea, in this case, we're just going to have it, and we need a player tag. It's actually not a tag. This is a layer. So, not even a layer. I'm sorry. This is the name of the object, because it's a game object. So you have to name it player. Control A, Control C, as opposed to character. For example, if we renamed a character, this wouldn't work. Or we'd have to rename this to character. Why don't we test that? Okay. What am I adding? Movement, level, load level. Okay. Takes a second. Control A, Control V, load level. Okay. And then we will go here, load level, bring it there. And we already have it, it's already set to 0, and then you can use an integer or not. So you actually have options that I'm referencing, citing a previous YouTube video, pretty good option. So we can put it now, where's this 0 coming from? We go here, File, Build Settings, right here. We only have one scene, but if we added more scenes, we would put them in. Right now, there is, as you can see, it's 0. There's only one. So that makes sense. We're just going to keep referring back to the same scene. Okay, load level 0, so it should work. All right, so if we go here, oh, no, it won't work because I have load level, but it's on trigger event. So we need to add a, let's see, where can we put it? Oh boy, I'll just add, we'll do it here. 2D object sprite square, it's fine. Where is it? Scale, where's the square? Oh, it's over here. We'll put it there. And we'll make it really big. What do we say? 1,000? Okay. 1,000. Sorting layer. That was just a random layer created. It makes it easier, less buggy if you do that. Definitely need two things. We're going to do a rigid body 2D. Sorry, remove rigid body 2D and no gravity, and we'll freeze the position rotation and a box collider 2D and make it a trigger. Boom. Okay, so that should do it. Let's see if this does it. Let's see. Oh, it clearly passed it, which is not good. And it wanted to act on the player, So two things. One, I don't have a player. What's going on here? What did I forget? Do I need to put the script there? Maybe. See? Let me do that. Load level. All right, let's see if this, yeah. See, it's just going to keep going over and over and over again after it hits that. And that's what we want, but not at that position, all right? So we'll just move it down. Okay, so that's kind of the idea here. So if we go, say, here, oh, it's still too close. Oh dear, still too close. We'll move it a little lower. So this is kind of one way of making a game. You know, fall off and it restarts with the new. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this, as you can see. The movements. It actually, that did it on its own. It just took off into the sky. I don't know if it's going to come back down. So I'll just end it. So what we're going to see is maybe if I change this to character, is it going to break everything? Character. Press play. Let's see if we get any. Oh, okay. It's working. Are we getting any exceptions here? Okay, well, I guess it was all right. I was referring to, the ground check. Okay, well, I guess it wasn't having as much of an issue as I thought it would in referencing, but, okay. So basically that's where we're at. with these two things. Oh, and it didn't pass it, so it does matter. That's right. That's what I was trying to prove, is that it does need it. It's referencing the game object, and the game object is, see, it's not going to reset. The game object is this, the name on this, in the inspector here on this object. So we do need to name it player, because when we look back in the script, and we can look at the script here, if we go to load level, we can actually look here. Can't select, but we can look. And on trigger collision, the game object, name player, right here. So it has to be called player. And that's what I was testing. So I changed it back. Let's make sure it works. And let's see, jump, reset. Okay, and it'll just keep working like that. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. Obviously, so we got level, one level repeating, but it's randomly generating a new platform and generative background over and over again. So probably we'd want something more interesting, like the ability to shoot and enemies and points, UI, start page and all that stuff. So that's what's to expect to see in the future. I appreciate watching and hope to see you all very soon. Thank you, and let me see how to gracefully exit the stream. Goodbye.